The air in the damp corridor of Crag's Reach was thick with the scent of mildew, desperation, and the wizard's expensive lavender-scented component pouch. At the end of the hall stood the great oak portal, a door so unremarkable it was quite frankly terrifying. Vax the rogue was currently horizontal. He was pressed against the floorboards, squinting at the gap between the door and the stone frame with the intensity of a man trying to read the fine print on a contract with a devil. "Nobody breathe!" Vax hissed, his thieves' tools clinking like nervous insects. "I see a hairline fracture in the grout. That's either a pressure plate trigger, or it's a very specific type of mold that explodes into paralysis spores. If you shift your weight, Borin, we will all die, probably messily." Borin the fighter did not shift his weight. Instead, he shifted his massive great axe from one shoulder to the other with a groan that echoed like a tectonic plate moving. "It's a door, Vax. A wooden rectangle. My boots have seen more action than this hallway today. I'm going to turn the handle. If it's trapped, I'll just block the explosion with my face. I've got the hit points. Your face is not a valid and viable tactical shield," Vax shrieked. Erasmus the wizard adjusted his spectacles and peered over Vax's prone form. He didn't touch the door. He simply gestured vaguely in its direction with a manicured finger. "While Borin's face-first methodology is charmingly primitive, we must consider the thaumaturgical implications. I'm sensing a face residue of abjuration, or perhaps it's just the lingering aura of the garlic bread we had at the tavern. Regardless, if the door is enchanted with a glyph of warding, turning the handle won't just kill us, it will turn our molecules into sentient marmalade. We just analyze the weave." Father O'Malley the cleric stepped forward, beaming with a misplaced confidence of the truly devout. In his hands, he brandished a 10-foot collapsible wooden pole, as if it were a holy relic. Friends, why risk molecules or faces?" He began frantically assembling the wooden segments. "I bought this for 5 copper pieces from a blind gnome in the city, the Door Destroyer 3000. We stand at the very end of the hallway. I poke it with the handle with the tip of this stick, and presto, safety." "O'Malley, we are in a 6-foot hallway," Vax muttered from the floor. "The pole is 10 feet long. You are literally standing behind us. You'd be poking the door through Erasmus's ribs." "I'll just angle it," O'Malley insisted, trying to maneuver the unwieldy rod. He promptly smacked the ceiling, knocking a clump of wet moss onto the wizard's head. "That's it," Borin growled. He stepped over the rogue, ignored the wizard's protests about magical resonance, and pushed past the cleric who was currently wedged between the walls with his pole. "Wait! The spores!" Vax cried. "The marmalade!" Erasmus warned. "The structural integrity of my stick!" O'Malley yelled. Borin grabbed the iron ring of the door and gave it a violent, impatient yank. The door wasn't locked. It wasn't trapped. It wasn't even latched. It swung open with a gentle, well-oiled creak to reveal a broom closet. Inside sat a single, solitary bucket and a very confused spider. "See?" Borin grunted, stepping into the tiny room. "Safe." "Technically," Erasmus sniffed, brushing the moss off his robes, "the spider could have been a polymorphed beholder. We were right to be cautious." O'Malley sighed, poking the bucket with his 10-foot pole from the safety of the hallway. "I still think the stick helped the vibe."